Well, if you ask me at the halfway mark, if a 128 game is going to be this exciting and go down to the last over, I would have said no. In fact, nobody asked me, and I still said it would be over by the 12th or the 14th. Boy, I couldn't be more wrong. Went down to the last over. Should have known better. These two teams. Yeah, I should have known better. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Harsha Bhogle, Simon Doull. Yes, Harsha.
No, I just said if somebody had asked me, but nobody asked me.
But I still gave the answer.
Allow myself to talk to myself and ask myself a question here.
And answer my own question.
And answer my own question.
Do that. Let's not take names here. We know some people who do a Q&A with themselves. But right now, there's going to be some questions asked. Both these teams will ask a few questions to themselves. And there's a few answers that both these teams got as well. In a low-scoring game, what are the odds? I mean, very high when these two teams play each other, apparently. Never a dull moment when Bangalore and Kolkata are playing. Yes, Simon?
Yeah, look, I think a brilliant performance from Kolkata in the end. Look, Bangalore will take the points. Kolkata never had enough runs on the board, and they did an incredible job to almost defend those runs. So, you find so many positives in their bowling attack. You find positives behind the stumps, I think, in the performance, the catch in particular from Sheldon Jackson, the stumping, a couple of catches, in fact. So I think there's a lot of positives from that Kolkata bowling performance after a pretty average batting performance. And a couple of little things, I guess, from Bangalore. Shahbaz's innings probably turned things around a little bit, along with DK. I know they'll say they had to consolidate in the middle with Willie and with Shafane Rutherford. But when you look at that, 46 runs of 68 balls through the middle, when they'd lost 3 early, I guess that was the key component to it. But one of those probably needed to just kick on a little more. That little innings from Shahbaz, I think, to me, just turned things around quite nicely. And then DK, that's what he's in the side for, in the side to finish it. But Kolkata had their chances.
Yeah, they did. Harsha, is it safe to say then that the bowling side from both teams, the bowling contingent would go sort of back to the hotel this evening with their head held high, and, the batting, both will have to introspect for both teams?
Look, let's look at the KKR bowling. It's very interesting because of the 5 or 6 bowlers they used, effectively, Varun Chakravarti had a bad day.
Yes.
I mean, he was charged. If he had done approximately a Sunil Narine, say he's even gone for 20 in his 4 overs, this game is different, especially after the kind of start that Umesh Yadav and Tim Southee have given you. But they're getting nothing at all from Andre Russell with the ball. So I suspect they'll now have to put Venkatesh Iyer in. So given the limitations that KKR had, they had very few runs on the board, and effectively they played with 3 bowlers. I think to take the game that deep was an extraordinary result. And I'm liking what I see of Shreyas Iyer. I mean, effectively, it's the captain who's controlling it. He kept that game alive right till the end. It's with 3 quality bowlers. It just brings me back. I think they need an extra bowler. Because every time Russell dives, you cannot have to change a bowling plan.
Yeah, true. As a Kolkata fan, every time he dives, your heart stops because, I mean, that team has trouble with knees. So really don't want Russell to dive there.
You've got to report to SEBI. If you're a stock, I know we talk about stocks a lot on this program, but if you're a stock, you've got to report to the stock exchange that here's one of our dangers. If Russell dives, this is the company and our profitability.
Yeah.
It's true. Can tank that stock if his knee gets dodgy, especially with the bat. Not a good day for Varun Chakravarti or Andre Russell. But Simon, coming to Harsha's point here, I think it's a very valid point, and we were talking about it before we went on air as well. The 5th bowler, that's looking like trouble for Kolkata.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think you'll get 4 overs out of Venkatesh Iyer, Andre Russell, and even a couple of round arms from Nitish Rana, if you had to. So that's their option. And most teams are very similar. I mean, there's very few teams in this competition now that will have 5 out-and-out bowlers, 1 or 2 of which who can bat. So that's very difficult to find in 2020 cricket. So they've got 4 genuine bowlers, and even when Pat Cummins comes back, they've still got 4 very genuinely good bowlers. Chakravarti will have more good nights than he'll have bad. Wasn't quite on song tonight, I don't think. But if you can't rely on 4 overs out of Russell, Iyer, and Rana, then there's something wrong. I think. I know everybody's worried as soon as Andre Russell dives or as soon as he does something, but you can't play the game like that. If they're worried about it, then don't play him. Or don't bowl him at all. Just say Venkatesh Iyer and Nitish Rana, you are going to have to be our fifth bowler. And we're not even going to bowl Andre Russell. We're just hoping that he wins us 3 games with the bat. And that's all you're asking for. In this sort of competition, you're asking for every player to win you 2 to 3 games, or 1 game. And so that might be their way forward. But he's just struggling with the ball. And I just, that body, it's just such an enormous, massive muscle. I mean, I don't know what he weighs in at, but, he's well and truly over 105, 108 kilos. And just that enormous mass going through that stress time and time again is not easy. So he is an injury waiting to happen, which is a shame because I love watching him ply all of his trades. He's still good enough with with all 3 trades. I mean, that running catch was still good enough today.
Yeah, true.
Here's a thought for you, though, Dooley. Yeah, quick one. Here's a thought for you. The way this KKR team is structured, Southee, his job is to take wickets up front. Even though he came back and picked up 2 afterwards, his job is to swing the ball, take wickets up front. Umesh Yadav's job is to take wickets up front. Straight away, that means your third seamer, who's Andre Russell, has got to deliver back at the death. It leaves you very little degrees of freedom. That's why I think they need an additional bowler. Someone like a Pat Cummins comes in and bowls, and Russell becomes a fourth seamer. And then maybe bat 6 day in and day out. It means Sheldon Jackson has to bat a little bit more, or Narayan has to go in and bat at 5. Because otherwise, neither Umesh nor Southee is, they both have, Umesh bowled 1 over in the middle. Southee's got to come back and bowl 2. But look, Tim Southee's done everything you asked of him. He's come in as stand-in for Pat Cummins, and he said, hang on, I picked up 3 wickets. Drop me at your own peril. So even though RCB have won the game, it's interesting that we're talking more about KKR.
Yeah, that's because at Cricbuzz Live, we tend to have producers who are mad Knight Riders fans. One after the other. One's got a day off, another KKR substitute is there. It's like the bench strength of Knight Riders is better on Cricbuzz Live in the technical room than it is in their team hotel. But again, staying on Knight Riders, because one person that we've been talking about for so long and saying, wish he gets a game. He's got 2 now, talking about Sheldon Jackson behind the stumps. And Harsha, he's been fantastic today, right? Moving like another Jackson, Michael. His feet, light on his feet.
Yeah, this is where you didn't say moving like that other actor who plays Action Jackson, which is not a great comparison. No. I don't know. I've only seen 5 or 6
Not for
minutes.
footwork. Not for footwork.
No, I saw 5 or 6 minutes of that movie once. I just know it exists. No, but look at the stumping as well. I thought he was pretty good standing up. There's one ball, I think, from Varun Chakravarti that he might have missed. But otherwise, he did a pretty decent job standing up. But standing back, he's doing... the stumping he did in the previous game was fantastic. Today, that inside edge, Julie will tell you, if you're a bowler, you get an inside edge. You don't really... If your keeper gives you that catch, you're making friends with him.
Yeah, 100%. I thought he was brilliant today, and he's reading it well. I mean, they want runs from him. That's the key, and he was undone by a good wrong and with the bat earlier on. But they want runs from him, and then he's got to do his job and do it well behind the stumps. And it's not easy keeping to Chakravarti and to Narayan as well. So I think very impressive standing back though. What I love though, even the diving catch low, but the early ones when he was taking reverse cut nice and high, the ball is kissing through off that surface really well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I think the one you were looking for, Gaurav, was move like Jagger. You got to move like Jagger, move like Jagger.
Yeah, he's a big cricket fan himself, Mick Jagger.
Yeah, he is massive.
Fan. You do know that Steve Tyler from Aerosmith actually got plastic surgery to make his face look more like Mick Jagger, his hero. There you go. No. He did. Yeah. No. Listen, this is the trivia from my channel V Days. Come on.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
What? Listen. I've met Mick Jagger. He's got music skills. But why would? Okay, no. I'll say something irreverent. It's okay.
Don't worry.
Don't do it. Leave that to me, please, sir. You are Mr. Gravitas. You're on the penthouse suite, so please behave like that. All right.
Well, people will struggle to believe that over the last week, but you let that
go. It's all forgotten, isn't it? Just like Bangalore fans have forgotten that this team scored 205 a few days ago. Today have struggled to get to to 128. Well, let's just talk about that for a second. They've won the game. They've got the 2 points. Lots of positives for Bangalore. But let's call a spade a spade. They should have not let this game go to the last over. This chase should not have gone as far as it did, Harsha.
No, not at all. Not at all. But they got so rocked by that. And then the batting order suddenly goes up and down, you see, because Sherfane Rutherford's supposed to bat 4, Dinesh Karthik 5, Hasaranga 6, Willie as a floater. Willie actually opens the batting sometimes in the 100 or those limited over games where he goes in tongs. Now, suddenly your batting order is up and down. It's almost as if you said Dinesh Karthik will only bat after the 15th over. He won't bat before. And I mean, Shahbaz has literally saved that batting order, as Dooley was telling you. So they've got a few things to think about till Maxwell comes. I think the moment Maxwell comes, it'll sort of all settle down a little bit more, because Maxwell at 4 will let it settle. So yeah, they've got a few questions, but they've got to say thank you to their bowlers. I mean, their bowlers have delivered them this game.
These are also games. Sorry, G. These are games that sometimes you look at as at the end of the season, and you say, you know what, Bangalore could have lost this game last year or the year before, when things just weren't going right. Even though at 128 on the board, you think they'll win it every time, but when they're in a position that they were in, you know, it's a game they possibly could have lost in previous years. So you tick these games off along the way, and you think, okay, we could have easily been 0-2. We're now 1-1, and let's look at what we can get out of this, and let's give credit to Kolkata bowlers early on. I mean, Southee bowled beautifully. I thought Umesh was fantastic early on. So let's give them some credit, and let's just take that 2 points. Take the 1 or 2 positives that we've got, a lot of positives with the ball, and 1 or 2 positives with the bat, and let's move forward. But boys, we got 2 points when at some stages in that game with the bat, we probably looked like we weren't going to get 2 points. So it's one of those ones you look back and you think, you know, it's a very, very good 2 points, and they might thank themselves for that a few games down the track.
You know, for Bangalore fans, you've just got to, pause for a second and think about them, because this is such a mercurial team. A couple of days ago, they breezed to 205. Today, they've struggled to get to 130. If you're a Bangalore fan, life isn't easy. But hey, who said life is easy anywhere?
Gaurav, I know people who are both RCB and Arsenal fans.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That's hard.
Those are more cloudy days. Those are more cloudy days than sunny days, isn't it?
But RCB have incredible fans, man. They've stuck through this. I mean, sometimes just look at the fans and say, those fans deserve one good season.
Yeah, they do. This could be it, though. I'll tell you. Listen,
could be.
I remember Dooley and me spoke about in the com box and said, with KKR being 6 down, you're lucky to have Billings and Russell batting over there. With 7 down, you're lucky to be having Dinesh Karthik and Harshal Patel batting over there, because we haven't seen much of Harshal's batting. But for the little that you see, I mean, that shot, that little ramp that he hit between the keeper and fine leg for 4, you needed that at that time.
Is Maxwell coming to that side for David Willey? Is that what you sort of, is that what we're thinking? Is that their best lineup?
Or Rutherford?
Oh, no, for Rutherford, not for Willey, for Rutherford.
For Rutherford.
I think Hazelwood comes in for Willey if he does.
Hazelwood in for Willey and Maxwell in for Rutherford in that lineup. And that's 2 bowlers replacing, 2 guys who can bowl, replacing a batter and another guy, another all-rounder. So, yeah, not bad. I think it strengthens that side up immensely, and it means that, the DKs and the Harshals at the back end, and even Hasaranga, he'll win them a game with the bat at some stage. He's very aggressive. That they then bat pretty deep to sort of genuinely to 7, and then a couple of decent hitters, Shahbaz and Harshal at probably 8 and 9, isn't it, in that lineup? So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like it could be, but it's 10 teams, but it looks like it could be. Talking about Harshal, who was one of the most expensive buys in the auction, had a great day with the ball today. Was around in the end with the bat as well, just as, Bangalore fans' heart rates were kind of going up. And DK and Harshal didn't do any favors to those fans with that little run out. Geez, that run out was 20 seconds of complete chaos and brain drain from both teams.
I mean, the throw into the striker's end.
Yeah.
The only reason he to the non-strikers, and one is maybe he didn't realize, was there was no one there to back up. There was no one to collect the throw at the non-strikers end. But still, they're both there. You have all the time in the world to break the stumps, because remember, both of them are trying to make that ground at one end. Neither now wants to take the chance of going to the other end. So, Dooley, if you can just cover your ears, all I'll say is it's one of those fast bowlers in the field things.
Oh, sorry, I had my AirPods in.
So the voice echoed even louder.
Yeah, covering my ears didn't work. Sorry. But it is the sort of thing that happens time and time again when you've got a tail ender in with a batter. And you know, it does. It gets this confusion all over. But then you have a bowler fielding the ball as well, which probably, in Harsh's words, it probably doesn't help either.
Let's talk about Hasaranga with the ball today, because he was absolutely magical. 4 overs,
Brilliant.
20 runs, 4 wickets. He's definitely going to be a man of the match. And I guess that's the thing. Today, Bangalore has got answers to their questions because they paid a large sum for him. They paid a large sum for Harshal. And today both have kind of shown their colors. But let's talk about Hasaranga, because 4 wickets and he was just spot on today, Harsha.
And he's going to get better if the tracks get slower. If the tracks get slower, lower, Hasaranga will get even better. So if I'm in that RCB camp, I'm pulling Hasaranga aside and saying, well done. Have you seen that video of that RCB selection video where they said, come what may, we need Hasaranga? They actually went 1 crore over. They're willing to go up to 8.5, 9 crores for him. But I'll gently pat him on the back and say, you're a batsman too. I mean, you bowled brilliantly. You won us this game. But you're a batsman too. Don't sell yourself short by just one boundary and hitting it up. But if the tracks get lower and slower as you go along, second half of the IPL, Hasaranga will become a fantastic bowler for them.
Yeah, and in the first game...
It's about time again that Sri Lanka started to sort of have some impact in this tournament, isn't it?
True.
I mean, we saw it in the earlier years, and obviously, with Malinga has been an absolute standout for years and years. And Dilshan and whether it be Mahela, I mean those guys early on. But I mean we're now starting to see a few more of the Sri Lankans doing well. Rajapaksa, Dushmantha Chamira, I think is exceptional, and nice to see Hasaranga. So they're getting their game time and starting to prove that they are a good side. And this will just improve them more and more. I think it's a team that when they went to the T20 World Cup last year, they were a young side on the sort of looking for improvement. And I said at the time, I thought they'd be far better later on this year. And this will only improve and help improve all of these players, I think, and improve the whole national side as well.
I'm sure
Wouldn't be surprised if CSK play Tikshana at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's only one person who's hoping that more Sri Lankans don't come into the tournament, and that's Hasaranga after what Rajapaksha did to him in the previous game. Everybody else says it's all right, no problem. Yeah. Okay, well, so that's that. Bangalore's done it by the skin of their teeth, I'll tell you that much. But they've got the win. They're off to the races. They are. Let's have a look at the points table because Bangalore's put their name up there now. Shreyas Iyer definitely today has covered himself with glory as a captain, answering a lot of questions there for Kolkata fans, saying, hey, listen, don't worry. I got you guys. I got you. So there you go. Bangalore's up on the points table. And we've got 2 teams who haven't got a point who are going to be playing tomorrow. So we're going to have another edition in the 2-point club tomorrow because it's Lucknow playing Chennai. That's right. KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja are going to square off against each other tomorrow. Both didn't have a very good game to begin with, but hey, it's early days in the tournament. It's only the 7th game, the second game for both of them. And, they'll both be eager to make amends. Let's have a look at both the teams now. We got some impressive performances that popped up in that first game. Lucknow and Gujarat game was just brilliant. It was so up and down, topsy-turvy, just like you want a T20 game to be. Obviously, it didn't fall the favor of Lucknow, but do you see them make any changes, Harsha?
Look, let's run down that Lucknow Super Giants team. There was KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, Evan Lewis. Now, Evan Lewis is in the side as a stopgap, waiting till Marcus Stoinis comes in. He's still playing there in Pakistan. Look, their side gets completed the moment Stoinis and Holder, right? It's Stoinis and Holder, isn't it?
Correct, yes.
Yes. The moment Stoinis and Holder become available, though Kyle Mayers might discover bowling in the IPL is different from bowling at England batsmen. But so that's just me taking a dig at England batsmen. But apart from that, no, I don't see them. I don't see them making changes. Mohsin Khan, he had a decent game. Ankit Rajput can play for Mohsin Khan, but you don't want to make too many changes. The only other thing I could think of, and in my team, I had I thought Krishnappa Gautam, but Ayush Badoni has played so well. What it does, let's see what it does to their bowling. Because now they've got Avesh, Bishnoi, Mohsin Khan, Chamira, Krunal Pandya. And luckily for them, Deepak Hooda came and gave them 2-3 overs. So if Hooda can give them a couple of overs every time, then the team balance is fine.
Yeah, they're another side that played with only 3 overseas, aren't they, in their first game?
Yep.
Just looking through that lineup. Quinton de
Chamira,
Kock, Evan Lewis,
Evan
Lewis, and Chamira. So another side that played with only 3 overseas. But look, it's a strong looking outfit. Like you say, when Stoinis comes back and Holder comes back, I mean, you imagine that that Stoinis comes in for Lewis, I think at that number 3 spot probably, and then Holder into the middle to lower order around about that 6-7. I mean, it gives him proper power down that bottom. You look at Badoni, Krunal Pandya, and then throw in Jason Holder in that mix as well, along with Deepak Hooda. That's a really powerful looking 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who can all hit the ball out of the park. Now, there was one shot, and might have to help me with it. There was one shot, that Badoni played the other day, and I think it was when Lockie Ferguson came back into the attack and bowled a short ball. Was it Harsha?
Did they get almost squarish?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. And it just said to me straight away, here's an international quality bowler, 145 clicks, comes in, new spell, or, new over, short, and he just rocked back this young kid and just bashed it over mid-wicket for 6. And I thought, there's a player. There is a player. And I know that there's talk about how good he has been and players that have seen him, or Rahul Dravid obviously seeing him, telling everybody how good he was, and then, not being able to play a lot of cricket and coming into the IPL a little bit fresh. I mean, I was just so impressed with that. So that's something to look out for. But as you say, you put Stoinis and Holder into that lineup in 2 games' time, I think it's a very, very good looking lineup.
We spoke a
They
lot
could
about...
make one change.
Yeah.
They could make one change. I don't know when Andrew Tye becomes available, because I think he was in quarantine. If Andrew Tye becomes available, they could play Andrew Tye for Mohsin Khan, because he only played 3 overseas bowlers. They could play Andrew Tye for Mohsin Khan if he's out of quarantine and becomes available, because he was a late call-up, wasn't he, for Mark Wood?
For Mark Wood, yes.
So he might have finished his quarantine. He might have finished. So if he's available, he could come in.
He probably will, because it's just a 3-day quarantine, I think, for teams. So if he was not available for the previous one, I guess he probably will be for this. We will not talk up Rahul, because we really talked up Rahul and he got a first ball duck. I think we jinxed him. So we're not even talking about it.
Anybody would have. That first ball from Mohammad Shami was like all your nightmares come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And KL was one of the few players who was good enough to actually get a little edge on it. I thought he hit the top of his pad as well. There was some real conjecture around it, but I actually thought the bat brushed the pad as well as just that little edge. And that's why he was a little bit unsure too, I think, KL. But boy, what a spell. I mean, haven't we seen some opening bowling? Just for a moment, let me let me enjoy what we have seen a little bit of in the first week or so. Prasid Krishna, Mohammad Shami, Trent Bolt. Tonight, again, we've seen brilliance. I thought, Umesh. I am just loving Umesh tonight. And I mean, Tim Southey tonight, not as quick as he once was. But I mean, going back through those early games, it's been just so good to watch.
You need another moment? It's fine.
Pitches. Pitches. I hope the pitches stay like these, because I thought that Pune pitch, where 200 were made in Pune, and yet Prasid Krishna was getting the ball to do things. You could still hit the ball through the line if you wanted. These are excellent pitches. I only wish we had slightly longer boundaries and would have been perfect for T20.
I just, by the way, when you said that, I was like, what's he calling us? What? What's Harsha calling us? Just a second, hang on. Let's have a look at the other team real quick. There's Chennai, of course, with Ravinder Jadeja's
What did I say now?
Nothing.
Play the show. Nothing. Play the show back and then figure it out. That's so strange to say MS Dhoni with only WK in front of his name and not C and WK, right? I don't know how long it'll take me to get used to this. I think it'll a little more than 3 days, as I can tell. But Ravinder Jadeja is the captain there. And we'll also try to pull the 11 out. The player I'm keen to see here, who they didn't play last time, was Hunger Gekar. And I think, Simon, you saw him as well. I think you had a look at young Hunger Gekar.
Yes, certainly did at the under-19s. Really impressed with him. Really impressed. He's another one. But these sorts of pitches, I think, would really suit his style of bowling, his type of bowling. Do they unleash him? Will they have Tushar Deshpande, who didn't bat the other night? Milne, Bravo, Santner. So 3 of their overseas were down the bottom of the order that didn't bat the other night, and Bravo, Santner, and Milne. And they got nothing out of Devon Conway at the top of the order. I think it was a bit of a wake-up call for him as well, just as to how hard it might be. He was 3 from 8 the other night. So I don't know whether they go straight away into a change after losing. They've never been a team that changes their side very, very often, and they're reluctant to make changes in that side. So I don't see them replacing Deshpande at this stage with a Hangageka. But, a couple more games in, if things aren't quite going their way, they may look to do that. But they need runs out of the top. What are they?
Is Moin available tomorrow? Was Moin out for one game?
Imagine. Yeah.
I think he's available.
Yeah, Moin would be available
actually.
because Moin is available because when he came in, he was already there for the first game, but he'd only come the previous day. So I reckon Moin is available.
Oh,
so he comes in for Santner, do you think, and bats at 3, and comes in for
4,
Santner, or does he come in for Conway and bat at the top?
Conway is so CSK. So I think they'll still play Conway.
Yeah, it's
they'll
interesting.
Still play Conway, Uttapa 3.
They've also got Uttapa and Rituraj to open with. I mean, they've also got that.
So Conway,
Rituraj doesn't play.
Uttapa 3, Moin 4. I think that's the way they'll go.
Oh, really?
Okay.
But weren't they playing Moin more at 3 last season? They played him at
towards
3
the end.
Uttapa
Uttapa batted 3
season.
Yeah. Towards the end, Uttapa batted 3, Moin batted 4. Because what CSK did very well, unlike what they did in 2020, was they bossed the middle overs. They were virtually scoring nothing in 2020. And big part of that was Moin Ali. So I think they want Moin Ali to go after the spinners in the middle overs. So that's why Moin Ali went back to 4, Uttapa 3. Then you have Raidu 5, Jadeja 6. And Jadeja and Moin, between you, have to give you those 4 overs. Then with Dhoni, so I think Shivam Dube might go out.
Let's see if we can get the 11 in. So maybe that'll kind of clear things for us as well, especially with Moin Ali. The 11 from the previous game, if we can get that, or I'll just pull it up here on my Cricbuzz
How many overseas
app.
did they play? They played.
Yeah, played 4 overseas. They played 4 overseas.
So
Bravo,
the team was.
Milne, Bravo,
so I'll just
Milne,
read the team
Santner
out
down
for
the
you.
bottom.
Gaikwad, Conway, Uttapa, Raidu, Jadeja, Dube, Dhoni, Bravo, Santner, Milne, Tushar Deshpande.
Yeah.
So that was the team.
So if Moin comes in, I mean, they've got 2 options. If Moin comes in, to me, I mean, he could come in and replace Conway at the top, and they can move Uttapa to the top and bat Moin at 3, and keep that bowling attack. I mean, Santner was okay.
Yeah,
I think he went for 31 off his 4 overs. He was okay, and I know that Dhoni loved him. I'm sure that Jadeja, but maybe that comes into play more later in the tournament. Or they could bring Moin in straight swap for Santner and leave Conway at the top, and then fit Moin in that top order at 3, 4, 5, or somewhere around about there.
I mean, this is crazy. Look at this team. I mean, you can actually play with 10, right? They've got batting down till 9. They've got 7 bowling options. It's such a typical yellow team, isn't it, Harsha?
I mean, if they had, look, the moment Moin comes, you've got an extra bowling option. Suppose Moin comes for Conway. You can have it. You've got an extra bowling option. You actually don't need Shivam Dube if they had another batsman up there. But you see, they can just let him float. Shivam Dube comes, gives you a quick 15, occasionally give you a couple of overs. You're still okay. So, Moin for Conway or Moin for Santner. What happens if Moin comes for Santner? Then you've got Tushar Deshpande, Adam Milne, Dwayne Bravo, Ravindra Jadeja, Moin Ali, Shivam Dube. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I think it'd probably come in for Conway. Because otherwise, you're getting a traffic jam with your top order. And if you've got Conway and Rituraj and Moin Ali and Uttapa and Raidu and Jadeja and Dube, and then Dhoni's coming in at 8.
What they could do is play Moin Ali for Santner and get another fast bowler to come in for Shivam Dube.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, so we should get the squad.
For some.
We should get the squad back now.
Asif or Hangargekar.
We're jumping.
Asif or Hangargekar playing for Dube.
Yeah, that's your way to get Hangargekar in. I think is play him instead of Dube and bring Moin in for Santner. That's your way to get Hangargekar into the side, isn't it? And then you've got that to me, Harsh. I think you're onto something here because it makes for a better balanced side with the seam bowling department. I think they were probably a seamer short.
Yeah.
So it just makes for a slightly better side with the seam bowling department as well.
And also Bravo coming in at 9 is that's an unnecessarily long.
Yeah, it's a luxury. Right? It's a luxury.
Yeah, it's a luxury which if you can trade in a bit of that luxury for a little more seam bowling, I think maybe CSK would be looking at that. All right, we'll know tomorrow at 7 p.m. when we come for Cricbuzz Live. We're going to be right here. And of course, we're going to see what the squads are. Till right now, we've got one final piece of business, which is... hang on. What happened with the power play prediction? The power... What was yours? Did we get yours, Harsha? Because we almost got... I can't believe Simon said 27 for 3. And with 2 balls to go, I mean, if Russell hadn't tanked Simon Doull's stock, I tell you, he would have taken over the stock market today. He really would have.
What was he doing bowling that rubbish short wide? Come on, Trey Russ, please, come on.
He remembers the ball. Short wide, outside off, went for 4.
Yeah, you'd think that Simon was going to win like Bitcoin or something with that. That's how hurt he is. But yeah, should tell him.
Doesn't need to win Bitcoin.
Then?
Doesn't need to win Bitcoin. He's got loads.
Oh, he does. Oh, he does already. Okay, but more importantly, you have the password, right? Really?
No.
Because these days I meet a lot of people who have Bitcoin, but they've forgotten their password.
Yeah, those people don't really have Bitcoin.
Yeah, they don't.
Be laughing.
I bought a whole lot early on, but I forgot my password. It doesn't bother me though. I don't care about it. Of course you don't.
What's a few million between friends? But hey, this game is very serious between friends. Harsha, what was your guess? 37?
42.
42.
You said 48, didn't you? Or did I say 48?
No, I said 42,
and I think G said 47. So I think you were all you were a bit short, and I was a little bit too short.
I think it's a tie because Dooley said 28, I said 42, and they got 36. Oh no, 28 to 36 is 8, 36 to 42 is 6. So I won.
Well, come on. You got to be within 5.
I
said 3 down though. I must get. Can we get a half a cup? Can I have the handle of the cup? Can I have the handle of the cup for saying 3 down?
There you go. Yeah. It's the C from Cricbuzz, isn't it? It's the C from Cricbuzz. I'll send this to you.
C for close.
C for close. C for close, but no cigar. Yes, sir. That's it. Just the joy factor question and answer left. This was a simple one today. Joy was obviously, we got Joy in a good mood this morning. In 2012, what connected KP Appanna and Debabrata Das? The answer was not their hotel rooms. Both were called by other players to share the Player of the Match awards. Appanna with AB de Villiers and Das with Gautam Gambhir. I think every Knight Riders fan remembers that. In fact, Joy spoke about that on my podcast as one of the great captaincy things that Gautam Gambhir did. That was quite a moment, Harsha. I don't know if you were there at that game, but that was...
I think he came in at the end and finished the game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got 15, 16 or some such. But they were in trouble. I think he got some 15 of 5 or 16 of 6 or some such. And that's why Gigi called him to share the Player of the Match award with him. Those kind of things are definitely special. Let's see who got this right. We have a lot of correct answers that came in, but the first one came in from Pratik Jede. So congratulations to you, Pratik. You get a thumbs up from Joy, as you can see. You'll have to get your own opener and drink it.
Can't even get a mug because you give it the handle away to Dooley.
That's right. The mug's now become a glass. So we got... All right, we're going to see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Which one of you gentlemen is going to be here with me?
I'll be here.
Anybody? Somebody? Okay, you're going to be here.
Let me consult my roster. I think I'm here.
Yeah, it's going to be Mr. Thumbs Up and you, Simon. It's going to be Joy and you. That's right. And Harsha's going to be at the game. So we'll be here saying mischievous things about you. In case your ears are burning, you'll know it's us. A big thank you to Mr.
What I said, but we'll listen to that afterwards.
You just said pitches. That's what you said.
Pitches.
He's still not getting it. I can't believe it. He's still not. These vegetarians, I tell you. All right, well, we're going to go now. It's good night from us. We're going to see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Cricbuzz Live from a pondering Harsha Bhogle and a satisfied Simon Doull and Gaurav Kapur. It's good night for now.